Hey guys, um, welcome back to my channel. I'm Skeleton Kitty. I do variety. Well, not right now, but hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Skeleton Kitty. Today's video is going to be the first video concerning more mental health stuff. I don't really know how to go about this video. I haven't thought of anything to talk about, but I'm just gonna talk. I thought this evening would be a good time to film this because I'm not feeling the greatest. Um, it's October, and although I do love October, I love Halloween. Um, this is around the time where, the sun sets a little earlier and all that, and there's less sun and all that, so my mood tends to drop. I'm sorry about the reflection. The light's open right there. I'm filming in different areas, you can probably tell. But yeah, back to what I was saying. I'm gonna try to. That's better. Yeah, this around this time of year is when I start feeling a little more sad, unmotivated, just all that fun stuff. I don't have seasonal affective disorder or seasonal depression. I've never been diagnosed with that or show any signs. But I do struggle with major depressive disorder, which is one of quite a few mental illnesses that I struggle with. So I'm just going to, I guess this video I'm gonna talk about, like, kind of make this an intro to this more serious kind of talk because I do want to make a lot more mental health videos, just talking about mental illness and all that, and especially because, but I know there's stigma around, like, alternative people and, like, mental illness, like people who are alternative or depressed or whatever, which I'll get to that in a minute, but that's not at all the case. They're not related at all. Um, but, like, that's not really the point of this video. Like, I think it will help in some way, but it's not the point. This video is just gonna be like an intro into my brain, I guess. Just, how it all, not really how it all came to be, just how it started, really. Because I'm in my early 20s and I've had mental illness most of my life. So I've had many years of experience. But anyways, let's just get to it. So I was, to begin, my family has a history of mental illnesses, so it's not uncommon in my family for people to struggle with anxiety and depression and all that. And it's not just on one side of the family, it's on both sides. It's on both sides, both parents' side of the family. Um, so that being said, when I was conceived, there was my chances of having mental illness or being born with mental illness or whatever, blah blah blah, were very high, and I was born with mental illness because it is hereditary, and I unfortunately got mental illness from both my parents because, like I said, they both struggle with it, uh, and both sides of the family struggle with it. All different types, not just anxiety and depression. Like, I'm not going to go into detail, it's not my business, but Um, like I'll talk about my mental illnesses and things that I have um, been of concern with. Is that the right word? Like doctors or like medical per- personnel. I can't speak. I'm sorry. I'm nervous. Uh, but yeah, just like medical people, like they've been concerned about like certain mental illnesses I may have, and like some that I've shown signs of, but I've never been diagnosed with, and others that took years to be diagnosed with, and all that. And yeah, so uh, mm, yeah, again, uh, I railed off. I'm sorry. But yeah, again, right to the beginning, I was born with mental illness, hereditary. Some of it's environmental, or what it like environmental stuff just set it off. But I was born with anxiety, mainly, I think, um, from what I've been told. And I do have memories of having anxiety at a very, very young age. Um, One of them was probably just a dream because no one has been able to confirm it. But okay, I have a fear of spiders. I don't like spiders. They scare me, they gross me out. I have arachnophobia. And this is probably a dream, but basically what it is I was two maybe and living in a house with my parents. Like not this house. Um I moved a lot when I was a kid for reasons. But we were living in this house and I was in the bathroom and I guess I was being potty trained or whatever, like, those little seats. Yeah, I was in the bathroom and I felt something crawl up my arm and I looked down and there was just a teeny little spider and I freaked out. I was so scared. I was so scared and I was crying and all that and I was screaming for help. I didn't know what to do. I was just terrified. Um that's never been confirmed of that happening, so I'm thinking it was a dream, but at the same time, how could I remember that? And like at a specific age and like specific feeling that I had and a specific place, like I don't know. But yeah, I just have no confirmation on that. Second panic attack that I remember having. I was 5 years old, and now I can laugh at this, but at the time, it was terrifying. But I was 5 years old, 5 or 6, um, and I was at my grandparents, and I was in the living room. I was alone in the living room. It was morning, like 10, 11 in the morning. I had been up for a little bit. Um, because at my grandparents, I would usually wake up around like 8 or something, 8 or 9, to watch cartoons during the weekends when I was at their place. Anyways, I was in the living room, just sitting on their carpet, and I saw a little black piece of lint. Now, they they still do have, but they had a black cat. Um, so it could have easily just been a small, just little clump of cat fur because he's a black cat and cats shed and all that. But I saw a little piece of lint and it wasn't that close to me. I don't think like it was. uh well, you guys aren't here so you can't like see, but I yeah, no, you guys can't tell the distance, so but no, it wasn't that close to me, but it was just there, and I just happened to look over to that place where that little piece of lint was, and I lost my mind. I I cried. I felt like I was gonna die. I was so scared. Uh, I just, I honestly felt like the world was crumbling beneath me, and I felt alone and all that. And I wasn't alone in the house. Like my grandmother was in the house. Like my grandfather wasn't there. He was, um, out at this little morning club thing where like they play pool and all that and have coffee. He was there, but my grandmother was in the house with me. I wasn't alone. But I I just got so scared. It was unbelievable. Um, One of the few times I can remember where I was genuinely terrified for my life over a piece of lint. And like I said, I can laugh about it now. But at the time, for how young I was, it was so scary. Oh my god. Like I thought like this is the end of the world. Like so scared. But yeah, those are the earliest panic attacks I remember having. Um and I was like life kept going and all that, and I had a lot of traumatic situations and events happen in my life. I've been through a lot of trauma, um, and with that, of course, um, it triggered some mental illnesses that were already there because at a young age, I was already being monitored for mental illnesses, most specifically anxiety. I was diagnosed with anxiety, generalized anxiety disorder, at 11, no, 9 years old, I believe. I was between 9 and 11 years old is when I was diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder. Um, and it took a lot of fighting between my mom and the doctors because my mom knew something wasn't right. My mom knew something was wrong. She knew that, you know, a little girl shouldn't be acting like that, shouldn't be scared of everything, shouldn't feel anxious, shouldn't feel like she's in danger all the time. When I've had some danger in my life, unfortunately, but, I shouldn't constantly feel like I need to be in a state of alertness. You know, if you have an anxiety disorder or if you ever just had anxiety, you know what it's like. And generalized anxiety disorder is just it's constantly there. So, and I always knew as a kid that I was more paranoid and on edge and tense and, you know, um, just all those things that just you see someone dealing with that and you're like something's probably not right, and it's a chemical imbalance in my brain. Um, and yeah, now I was diagnosed with that at 9 or 11 years old, um, and I didn't know what anxiety was at the time. That was I was just a little kid. I don't even know what grade I was. Um, but I just always remember feeling scared and not feeling like I could ever relax, always feeling like I had to be on the lookout for something, like always having to have my guard up and everything. It was just not fun. And I still feel like that a lot of the time, but as I've grown older and I've gotten help and all that, I'm able to cope with them more. But as a kid, I didn't have that. So a lot of it I had to unfortunately deal with it myself because I didn't know how to express what I was feeling. Sorry.